Well, number one, as a referee, you've got to know the rules flawlessly. Now, no one is perfect. There are situations that come up, hopefully, that you can handle, but sometimes they're so complicated or there's so much confusion that it becomes more difficult. Knowing the rules and walking out on the field, knowing that you can handle anything that comes down the pike, any complicated enforcement, you know you can do it. But the backup is, every once in a while, the greatest of rulesmen and the greatest penalty enforcers get confused. And hopefully there's somebody on your crew that you've cultivated to become a great rules man as well. And they will help you. There isn't a great referee anywhere that doesn't have somebody on his crew that's checking every penalty enforcement just with a look. For 11 years, I had Don Hakes, who was the best deep official, I think, that ever worked in the NFL. Donnie knew the rules as well as I did. Every once in a while, I'd say something or I'd just hesitate, and I'd look at him and he'd go like that. And he'd give me one word, and I would go right back to the proper enforcement. He was my fail-safe. Nobody is perfect. They say officiating is an art form. It's like the ballet. It's so difficult to know everything, to hear everything, to see everything. You need a lot of help. But basically, you got to know the rules. You can't walk out on the field being afraid that something's going to happen that you can't handle.
Confidence is the key.
If that happened, I would be afraid to walk out on the field, because you'll have a play where you'll have 3 fouls on one play, on different sequences, different changes of possession, and boy, you've got to put that in your head, and you've got to do it in a matter of an instant. I read the rule book every single day of the year for all the years that I worked, because I was afraid that if I didn't read everything and go through every rule and go through every case book, that something would happen that I would be embarrassed and embarrass the conference that I was working for because I didn't know what to do. I mean, can you imagine? Every year there's probably 3, even now in the NFL, and I'm sure on college level, there's a handful of plays that are misenforced, that shouldn't be misenforced because somebody didn't do their homework. And it's like losing a down. You know, you lose a down in a football game because somebody was daydreaming. It's like somebody was murdered. I mean, it's one of the worst things. A misenforced penalty, I mean, that's like death. So I think in all the years that I worked, I read very few books, and I love to read. I read the rule book to a fault. I had them in the bathroom, I had them in my car, I had them at my office. I had every day reading something, talking on the telephone, trying to find out the answer to these complicated plays, just to build my own confidence. Because you can get lulled into confidence because 90% of the things that happen on the football field, as far as penalty enforcement, are the same thing. Holding, pass interference, they're easy. But there's that 5 or 6% that are complicated, that are double fouls after possession, double fouls with possession, pass fumble, returning, replay, and all that. You got to know it all. And that's what keeps you on your toes. Somebody that prepares a month before the season will fail. It's like trying to get in condition 3 weeks before your physical. You can't do it. No way. Anyone that's interested in becoming a top-notch referee and increasing all of your abilities, make sure that you get a hold of Position Power, put up a referee magazine, because it's got all of the information about finding out how good you are and how good you can be.